let's not waste time. Oh, take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth. You and I as one will always be better than two.
Hey, welcome to Relaxed and Free. I'm your host, Cary Corley, and this is my good friend, Doug. He's co-host / production / engineer.
Producer engineer, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Producer engineer. Yeah.
I'm not making this up.
I've given him permission to interrupt me, so this is okay.
Right out of the gates. Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah. This is a Christian counseling podcast. I'm not supposed to say that. That makes Doug mad. But we have a different way to say that. This is a counseling podcast with a clinical mindset and a Christian foundation.
Christian foundation.
I like that.
I like it too. That's why I said it.
It resonates with me.
Yeah, I think it's good.
We're gonna, so we're laughing right out of the gate. Too much humor. We're going to lose our listeners. What's this podcast about? This podcast, Relaxed and Free, is got two parts to it. All right, we're going to have interviews. Those interviews are going to be answering a question. For instance, the first season, the question is the American church in a mental health crisis? So we're going to have guests come on, and they are going to answer that question. But they're not just going to answer that question. It's going to be like a counseling session. Yeah, because I want to know how they came to their answers. And so it's going to be really cool because what we want people to do is we want people to be vulnerable. Yep. We want people to come in and be themselves. So we're going to have pastors come in. We're going to have other mental health professionals come in. They're going to be, really cool people. They're not going to just be Joe off the street or anything.
Okay. That's good. We're not getting lame people.
I've worked really hard at not getting lame people.
That's really helpful.
Yeah. I want them to be entertaining. If I ask them a question and they just sit there, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Well,
I figured that out early on.
A lot of people find the sound of crickets relaxing, so that's okay.
So that's going to be the interview portion. And then we're also going to have an Ask Me Anything portion, which I didn't know this.
So let me interrupt you. Sorry. Mm-hmm. They're not portions. They're different episodes.
Episodes.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah. That does help because
it's important.
If our listeners can't tell, I am technologically defunct.
A genius. Oh, right.
No. Okay. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm bad.
Yeah. So I'll do all the nerdy stuff. So we'll have 2 episodes, and one will be an Ask Me Anything episode.
AMA, Doug.
AMA, thank you. Yeah. Oh, there's the tech guy I needed.
Yeah.
And then the other version will be the interview / session. And that'll be the bulk of it. We'll have additional talk and stuff at the beginning, but that'll essentially be the release cadence for this is every 2 weeks, and then we'll alternate between the two.
Do people really, is that how podcasters talk? The release cadence?
Well, no, but I'm a nerd. I'm the producer engineer. I'm a nerd.
So. I just need to know these things because I'm never going to say anything like that.
Okay, so most of the time, the person like me is not really in front of the mic. Is not also doing this role.
See, that's what makes us unique.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like to wear just one hat.
It's going to be good. So this is going to be great. Why are we named Relaxed and Free? I want to answer that question.
I hope so because you named it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah. Okay. So, what it breaks down to is the guy who mentored me. So, like I said, I'm a Christian counselor. The guy who mentored me was a Christian counselor. I've had several mentors, but the person who mentored me in the business, was a Christian counselor and a close friend. And he and I met for lunch one day, and this was probably 6 months ago. And I was almost coming up close on a year into expanding the private practice, and just some crap had happened, taxes, business stuff,
big government. Sorry,
business stuff that was no fun, and I was feeling it, man. I was like, this really sucks.
It's grinding you down.
Yeah, it was grinding me down. And I'm telling him his name's Larry. And I'm telling him everything that's going on. And Larry's in his 80s. He's actually gone to be with the Lord now.
Yeah, wasn't.
Yeah, he was in his 80s at this time. And
just a sage, like just a unbelievably wise guy.
Yeah.
The few times that I met him, I was like, this guy's just one of those stable.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyway.
Very stable, and like unfazed by my panic. Right.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he says, Cary, it's going to be okay. And of course, I'm already in my Chicken Little, kind of mantra.
That's not
the sky is falling.
I thought you were talking about what restaurant you were in at first.
Oh,
so
no.
You're good. Keep going.
No. We were at Jack Stack in Kansas City.
No,
yeah.
They have chicken there too.
They do.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the sky's falling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said in his early days of starting his own private practice as a Christian counselor, one of the mantras that he would recite to himself was this one. He would say, I'm the place where God shines through, for he and I are one, not two. I need not fear, nor fret, nor plan. He wants me where and as I am. And if I be relaxed and free, he'll carry out his plans through me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was a moment for me, and still is, just because now Larry has gone to be with the Lord, and it's a great memory for me personally, professionally, and something that I'll never forget. And it also took me back to 2003. So now we're going to jump way back.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm in college at this time, and part of my personal story is growing up. I'm going to drink some water. My throat's getting good. Growing up.
Oh, okay. Well, do you want me to fill in for you? So growing up in the South.
In the South, yeah.
Yeah.
I am from Alabama. So I'm from Little Town. No, it's probably one of the bigger towns in Alabama.
I thought it was named Littletown. Like the way that you said that, I was like, I haven't heard of that one.
It's called Birmingham, which I think most people know Birmingham.
People know
Alabama.
Birmingham.
Yeah, people know Birmingham.
Yeah.
So I'm from Birmingham in a little suburb called Homewood. But where I grew up, there was just a lot of dysfunction in the family that I grew up in, which actually ended up leading to me becoming a mental health professional. And so as I'm in college, I really am going through a difficult time. The walls are closing in. I feel anxiety. I'm going through a bad breakup. I don't know how to deal with the world around me. Yeah, the walls are closing in. And one of the things that the Lord really led me to at that point, because I'd accepted Christ in 2000, and this was in 2002, 2003. I really felt called to take a break from college.
So was your home life, your parents and all that, they weren't Christian? Or they were?
My biological father, not Christian. My biological mother and stepfather, Christian. But here's the kicker, and I will... I can expand on this as the podcast goes on, or right now, or whatever.
Yeah.
But everybody claiming to be Christian. So my biological father, not Christian, but definitely went to church and
check the boxes.
Yeah.
Did his due diligence.
So many ways. It was really, really bad. So because when I was in middle school, my biological father was found guilty of sex abuse of one of my friends and then two of my brother's friends, but lots more. Okay.
Hold on. Your middle school friends?
Yes. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, it is very bad. So my father, Doug is looking at the outline, and he's like, "This was not in the outline.
Where is this?
It wasn't."
I see that we were trying to get to vulnerable. I don't know if we've gotten there yet. All right, go ahead.
Hey, man, I talk about this stuff all the time because it's what I do for a living.
You should be a counselor. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so
my
suffice it
dad
to
actually
say-
was found guilty when I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
And was convicted of 3 different counts and to serve 10 years for each count concurrently. So my biological father was actually just released from prison 2 years ago.
Dang.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the world that's kind of closing in on me, okay?
Yeah.
So this world's closing in on me and I need a break.
Can I ask one more question on that? Because I'm missing what. Yeah, you can be upset. Well, because where is your faith during that? Right.
From middle school to high school.
Yeah, I mean, you have a whole bunch of poser Christians around you, right?
No, not at that time. So
in middle school,
high school, no faith. Like I was very angry at the church. I was very angry at God because my biological father. Which I want to make sure that everyone understands. This is my biological father, this is my stepfather, 2 very different people.
Yeah.
But my biological father used the church and he used Boy Scouts to...
He exploited.
To get, to
satisfy
find his victims.
His needs.
Yeah, to find his victims.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that was my interaction with faith at that time. And so once my dad went to prison, I wanted nothing to do with God. I wanted nothing to do with the church.
Okay.
And so that led me on a journey all on its own, right?
Yeah.
Up until I was a senior in high school and I accepted Christ. And so I accepted Christ in 2000. So that all happened in 94.
Okay.
I accepted Christ in 2000. And then in 2002, the walls are closing in on me.
Okay.
I had been to some counseling off and on, but I really needed a break from school. I had a bad breakup with a girlfriend, and really just felt anxiety to the max. And I was going to go into the mission field, and I joined United Methodist Volunteers in Mission, and they sent me to the Bahamas.
Rough.
It really, at the time, it kind of made me mad because I was thinking, man, I wanted to go to Mozambique because that was an option. And they were like, oh, you want to go to Mozambique? Like I selected Mozambique, right? And this is back in the day of like Scantrons. So like, you you didn't go on a website. You actually like circled a bubble.
You got to get
like,
that
I want to
number
go to
2.
Mozambique. Sorry, not Mozambique. And they were like, okay, yeah, hey, what kind of skills do you have? And I was like, well,
I got people skills.
Like, what do you mean?
I got corn shucking skills.
Yeah. And they were like, well, Mozambique just got done with a 10-year civil war at this time.
Okay.
10-year long civil war, or whatever. And
that's why you wanted to go naturally.
Yeah. Because I was going to dodge bullets for Jesus.
Yeah. You wanted the pennants and the...
You're right.
Or
I wanted the Silver Cross, baby.
What's that thing called where you like punish yourself?
As a penance.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, we'll have to look at that. But
yeah, somebody can Google it and write us and yell at us. Yeah.
So all that to be said, going to the Bahamas, I want to go to Mozambique. I didn't have any of the skills that they needed in Mozambique. They were like, yeah, we need, medical doctors and engineers. And can you do any of those things? And I was like, no, I just finished like my English lit course, and psychology and all that kind of stuff at the University of Alabama. And they're like, no, that's not good enough. So they sent me to the Bahamas where I hosted, volunteer groups that would come into this camp on this tiny island called Eleuthera. And the Methodist Church of the Bahamas had a camp there for orphans that they would come there during the summer and that type of thing. And the camp was very run down. Like when I got there were like missing windows and doors, and it was crazy.
Just like a makeshift structure. And
it was really bad.
Yeah.
Lots of great stories there too, but we don't have time for that right now. the short and skinny of it is I'm at this camp, and the Lord really impressed on my mind Matthew 11:28 and 29, which is, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And I really learned during that time of my life, like, this is something that I'm supposed to be doing. I am supposed to be living this out in my life. And so if we fast forward now to 2022, Larry and I are having lunch, and he says this to me, it resonates of like, man, relaxed and free.
Yeah.
This takes me all the way back to Camp Simonette on Eleuthera, where the Lord really impressed, like Matthew 11:28, 29.
It ties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ties it all back together.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
So it's a selfish pursuit. That's why you're doing this. Got it. Yeah, I think so. So obviously, you have your own private practice.
Yeah.
Lakewood Family
Praise God.
Therapy.
Lakewood Family Therapy.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Thank you, man.
Why spread to the podcast? Like, why push further beyond the clientele and your waiting list and stuff?
Yeah. There's a couple of answers to that. One is very practical. I'm a very practical person, and the practical, just objective answer to that is I tried blogging and it sucked. And
Do people still read blogs? Man.
I don't know. I'd tell you, I don't enjoy them. I don't enjoy writing them, and I really don't enjoy writing either. Like,
Okay.
And so then I wanted to tell a story, and I went on a podcast. So a friend of mine, Elise Harper, who she's going to come on our podcast and be a guest.
Well, what podcast is she on? I haven't heard this.
Her podcast is called Confessions, and it's like
saucy.
focused on mental health professionals. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I had a really good time.
Good.
Like, I had a blast, and I was like, holy crap, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then it took me back to another memory, back to 2014 when I first met you, my friend.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And so everybody knows.
That's not when we first met, Matt.
In that time frame. I'm speaking generally.
Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure I met you before we met for lunch. Otherwise,
we definitely.
Tinder date.
Yeah. I am not on Tinder
anymore.
So when we met for lunch, we met to talk about a podcast, and this was back in 2014. So in my mind, at least, this was back before podcasting was cool. Like, if we had started podcasts then,
it was on the rise for sure. But yeah, I mean, we could have.
Like, but now everybody does it.
Yeah, including us. Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're the only us's that are doing it.
We're different.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the things that, in terms of podcasts back then, that you and I didn't see eye to eye on was politics. I was like, hey, man, like, we're not going to do politics.
No.
And you were like, at that point in time in your life,
I was very mad at everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, that just continued until I just threw it all away. Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to transition into your story.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Because back in 2014, it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. But here I am. I was at the bottom of that bottle you drank for those years. I don't know. That just sounded funny to me.
Take me to the bottom.
It just sounded funny to me, so I thought I'd say it. At Lakewood Family Therapy, we aim to be your refuge in the storm. We're professional Christian counselors whose sole purpose is to bring healing to your family and hope for the future. If you'd like a free 15-minute phone consultation with one of our professional counselors, you can call or text 816-663-9751 or head on over to our website, lwfamilytherapy.com. We'd love to hear from you. Lakewood Family Therapy, where faith, family, and future is our number one priority.
Okay, so let's see.
What brings you here?
So you were asking, how did we get here? So
how did you get here? I already explained to everyone else how I got here. They're interested in you, Douglas.
Yeah. I would say, let me give, I guess, some keystones. So I was raised in a somewhat Christian household, Methodist church growing up, going to the church until confirmation. I never understood it. I didn't understand any of it. I didn't get the point. It didn't make any sense. It was just a thing you had to do on Sundays, which I raged against. Don't tell me what to do. So
totally get it.
However, during really bad storms and stuff when I was young, my mom, I would go into there and she would read the Bible to us. And then, so that was my main connection, was the emotional, because it was a comfort.
Cool.
And then my mother, there was a key thing, and I don't remember why, I don't remember how, but there was this verse that always stuck with me. And then she ended up getting me a little note card of it, but the mustard seed thing, I don't remember the. I'm not a good scripture and verse person, so you can tell me what it is.
The faith of a mustard seed.
The faith of a mustard seed. You can move mountains. There's something incredibly moving about that to me, and just really demonstrates the power, right, of God. Yeah. So, but anyway, I really wasn't a Christian. Didn't understand it until college. I had pretty much the same story as you. Everything was crashing around. Break up, and then. Toward the end of the relationship, I was trying to use faith. I was like, this is the only thing I haven't explored that could potentially save our relationship, although we both kind of knew it was over. But also fill the void that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I still feel a void, and I have the thing that I had been waiting for. So yeah, it's finals. It's the end of my degree. I've been dating this girl mostly through college. And I thought that love was the thing that I needed to complete me, and that was the end, right?
Right, yeah.
And then I got it, and I was still hollow. And so then I started this self-reflection, because I won't stop analyzing stuff, right? And so I was like, okay, well, I got this, I got this. I don't have that or whatever, but I have this void. So what's left? Drugs? That's not it. That's fake. I know that.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So essentially, the only thing that was left was faith, right? Something supernatural, something bigger than me.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
She and I started going to churches and stuff, but it didn't really, I mostly was going alone. And then I heard this really great sermon about how to pray and the point of prayer, and basically focusing on the conversational, relational portion of it, which is what I've always inherently felt, just because of, my mom reading to me, and this is the comfort, and go to your father, talk to your father kind of a mentality, versus here are your rules, follow your rules, and you're be a good boy.
Right. Relationship over religion.
Yeah. Spirit of the law versus letter of the law, if you will.
Yeah.
And so anywho, so then I had this moment where I was really finally ending it, and God really came to me in that moment, and I was comfortable. I had no anxiety, and that's kind of when I was like, oh, I get it.
You were
that's
relaxed
and free.
So
that's kind of how I became a Christian. And then I've been through a few churches since then. I do the sound and some video and tech stuff at our church now.
Okay.
I go to neighborhood church in Overland Park.
I probably should have told our listeners that we're in Kansas City.
We are in Kansas City, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. The metro.
Yeah.
like most of the metro because of this commute.
Right.
Yeah. So history with a whole bunch of music. I've been doing music mixing live in churches and then post-production as well for about a decade. I originally started the church music because I wanted one recording of the song. I had a real spiritual moment with the one particular performance of us doing It Is Well.
Yeah.
With, that call and response of like, it is well,
Oh, yeah.
it is well with my soul, with my soul.
Yeah.
So like it was the first time I'd heard like the whole crowd like call and response. Yeah, that's the one. So it was like the first time that happened. It was really moving to me. So I was like, I just want that recording. Like I want it. I need it. And so I volunteered for the sound team. Like I see they have a computer. They must be recording it. I bet I can get it. And then
Interesting.
That was it. I was like, well, look at all these buttons. What are they?
I have questions about that. Just like, do you typically behave in that way? But that'll take us off topic. So
no, you're good.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I did that.
So that's how you did that.
Yeah.
And then
so that's where the music comes from. That was my faith.
What about here? Like what about this podcast?
This one specifically?
Yeah. What do you hope to gain from it, man? Like, why are you here, bro?
Yeah. So I'm a scientist by trade, no longer actually actively working in it.
A true scientist.
Yeah, lab scientist. Worked in clinical trials for a while too, and moved to technology. So I'm in healthcare tech now. The problem is it's so abstracted. I'm not being challenged at all. So,
Okay.
and I want to care about what I do. And I'm not saying what my company now does isn't important. I know that it is, but where I'm at in that giant machine, I'm pretty much irrelevant. So they say that's not true, but it feels that way to me. So,
Sure.
So
what I hear you saying is that I challenge you.
Oh boy.
And you also feel relevant around me.
Wow. You're just a phenomenal counselor. I can't believe this. How did you pick that up? No, like music's one of those things I just can't escape, right? Like I wanted one recording, so then I do a decade worth of work to like learn and try and master this thing.
That's a long time, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Never got the recording. Shoot.
You really never got the recording?
No, I never found it. It was on some like hard drive. They'd already swapped their external hard drives. Anyway, the point is, this brings me joy. And so let me now get into the sales mode of this. Yeah. This brings me joy. All these stupid microphones and the cords and the cables and the hour and a half that it took for us to set this up. Gonna have to mix this later, edit it down and all that stuff, and the bumpers and that stuff I just do for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I think I've mixed over 1,000 songs in my career, at least.
Wow.
Just from church. That's not including my own private projects.
You love it, man. That's awesome. It's
just a thing that I do no matter what. And so I'm tired of trying to get, I'm pivoting to try and do the thing that I love and find a way to get paid for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Rather than get paid so that I can do the thing that I love on the side.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. I do see what you mean.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that this is going to be
I empathize with that. I empathize with that. Yeah. I worked maintenance for 7 years while I was getting my master's degree in counseling. Yeah. And it even got to a point where the maintenance department that I was working for, they were like, hey, man, we want you to stay on.
Yeah.
You know, don't, you know, I had this choice, right? Like to go start over essentially.
Right.
And do counseling.
Yep.
Start as an intern or enjoy the 7 years I had spent at this position and, you know, all that came with that. And man, I'm so glad I chose counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as your story showed, like that was your path. It was pretty clear. Like you have to be engaged with people and helping them out, you know?
Love it. And I'm so glad you said that. So that's your path. That's your clear. I think the biggest thing for me, if I want people listening to this to hear anything is that for the interview section, we're going to be talking to people, and they're going to be answering a question, right? And the question for this season is going to be, is the American church in a mental health crisis?
Yeah, season one.
Season one. Is the American church in a mental health crisis? But more importantly, we want to know their path, how they got to the answer to that question.
Yeah. What's informing that
Yes.
answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know their story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's got one.
Right.
That's the best thing about my job. This is the best thing about my job.
You just get to hear all the
I get to hear
backstories.
all of the cool ways that God has worked in people's lives
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Yeah. And
It rocks.
It's I could see how that's a beautiful thing. Like I've seen that work just outside, and my wife's also a counselor. And
Yeah,
so,
we probably should mention that. That's really technically how we met, because your
That
wife
is
and
how
I
we
worked
met.
together
Yeah.
at a nonprofit, at a community mental health nonprofit in the Kansas City area. That's how we met.
Yep.
Yeah.
You two work together.
Yeah.
And then she's like, this really super awesome guy at work said he wanted to start a podcast.
Well, and the first time, your wife's name is Lindsay, and my wife's name is Lindsay.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
The first time that Lindsay and I met was actually in our doctoral program at Midwestern here in
Did you
Kansas
guys
City.
take classes together? Or
We did. Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, we were in a cohort together.
Yeah.
She graduated before I did, but
You were in the same cohort? I don't think I realized that. I thought you were like the next semester.
Yeah, it was kind of a
That doesn't
weird
matter,
setup there, but
It's also whenever you finish your dissertation.
Yeah, it's whenever you finish your dissertation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all that to be said,
Yep.
Relaxed and Free has a framework, and that framework
Yeah.
is interview, answering the question, and then we're also going to do the Ask Me Anything. I said it, yes, which
AMA.
is AMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do the Ask Me Anything.
Everyone can groan. Stop saying it weird. I get it.
Before it gets too weird, I will go ahead and end us out. All right. So, man, hey, I just want to say I love doing this with you. It's going to be really good.
It's going to be a great ride.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get this ride started.
Oh, no, it's over.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. It is over. So,
All right, bye.
well, good night.
That's it.
All right.
Relaxed and Free is a presentation of Lakewood Family Therapy. Catch up on other episodes wherever you get your podcasts, and please rate and review. Every review honestly helps us bring you this content. Production and engineering led by Doug Bonebrake. Recording done by Chris Renfro. Stay relaxed and free.
Let's not waste time, we'll take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth. You and I as one will always be better than two. Yeah, you and I as one will always be better than